We're here at the Smith Center, and I'm sitting alongside Arkansas defensive line coach Derek LeBlanc. Coach LeBlanc, welcome to OTA.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Talk about it. How has it been? First couple of weeks on the job. I know you guys hit the ground running, had to put together a class in a very short amount of time. But how has the transition gone?
Man, fast. I mean, it's a little more difficult now with the early signing day when you're a new staff and you have to go in. Back in the day, you could fight till February and battle for some guys. But now, I think Coach Pittman got hired a couple of days before early signing. I think he did a great job of getting started and getting guys in the boat really early. And then the momentum through January to now, I think it's been pretty good considering the circumstances.
We had a mutual friend, Coach Michael Smith. You
Yeah.
coach with at Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah, I called Mike when I heard that you possibly would be the coach.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the things that Coach Smith explained to you about working here and coaching at the University of Arkansas?
Well, I think everything that's shown itself to be true. Like, he said it was a great place, which we knew it was. He loved this place here. A lot of good people here. He had a lot of friends here. He talked about the facilities and the ability to recruit to this place. That I think he had a little bit of success himself getting kids to come here. So everything he had to say was through the roof.
When you go out and recruit, and like I said, you had a short amount of time. What was the message that you guys, as a staff, tried to get across to prospective recruits? Just because you guys didn't have a lot of time.
Right. Well, convince the kids that we can win here. And it's been proven that we've won here before. And getting kids to believe that we can win and compete in the SEC West here at Arkansas and the resources that we have for them. I think here, you look around through these windows, I mean, this place is really second to none when it comes to what's available for the student athlete. And I think that was the message that was sent to the kids and to the parents.
You got here, sat down with Coach Odom and staff. What made you want to be a part of this defensive staff at the University of Arkansas?
I think it starts with good people. I know it sounds cliche, but it starts with good people. Start with the head coach. I got a chance to go and coach against Coach Pittman and coach against Coach Odom and saw the things that they were doing individually with their respective teams. And then really a good friend of mine is Brad Davis, who I trust with everything, man. So there's a couple of things that came together that just made me want to be a part of it.
Coach Pittman said
that him and Barry Odom were sitting around the table talking and said, "Hey, you want to go after the Kentucky guy?" Is that how they explained the story to you?
That's what they said to me. But I just know I got the phone call, man, and I was ecstatic to get that call and wanted to be a part of it, and I'm happy I'm here.
When you look at the SEC, we always know from as it's a line of scrimmage league.
Yes.
What is it that's so different from the line of scrimmage play than any other conference, in your opinion, Derek?
Well, everybody's big and physical. I mean, I think everybody recruits big and physical. This league is known as a team that if you're going to win a championship, you got to be able to run the football. I know what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see a lot of points scored. Everybody wants to see a lot of the excitement in the stands. But at the end of the day, from Pee Wee football to the Super Bowl, the teams that can run the ball typically win those big games. And it starts with the big guys up front.
Your particular philosophy on the defensive line, I had a chance to watch your group at Kentucky.
Right.
Those are some dudes.
Right.
What will be the philosophy that you imprint on your guys?
I think getting guys to understand what their role is. Everybody sees the flashy highlights of D-line play. Everybody wants the sacks. Everybody wants the TFLs. But those are so far between. You know what I mean? They don't happen often.
Right.
But just understanding your role as a big guy, that your job is to disrupt the line of scrimmage and protect the fast guys behind you and allow those guys to play, but still have the ability to make plays within the scheme of the defense.
What does Derek LeBlanc look for when he goes out and recruits defensive linemen to the University of Arkansas? What's the one thing that you look for above all else?
Physical. Guys that are physical, guys that love to play football. Soft doesn't belong in this conference. Soft doesn't belong in football. And I think, where our sport's getting attacked with all the stuff and you can't tackle anymore, you can't do that. Within the line of scrimmage, those rules don't even affect us, where you have to be physical from tackle to tackle, and we have to have guys that are physical in order to win this league.
Speaking of that, what have you seen from some of the guys that you have? I know everybody gets a clean slate, but what have you seen from the guys you're inheriting? There's a lot of young guys that came in just last year.
You know what? It's interesting because I have a strength and conditioning background. so watching them work out and watching them train, maybe unlike a lot of the other coaches, I have an idea of who those guys are, and I'm always in there observing. And it's just how they attack the workouts, body language, and their strength as well. Strength and speed matter, but how do you show up in that work? Because nobody wants to really practice, right? Nobody wants to work out. Everybody wants to play. But how those guys attack and how they perform in the weight room is a direct correlation to how they're going to play on the football field as defensive linemen. So, so far so good. They're learning. Coach Walker's doing a great job with those guys. They hadn't done a whole lot since November, so they're kind of getting into a conditioning mode. But for the most part, all those kids are working hard, and I think they're ready to get started with some football.
You mentioned Brad Davis, and you had a previous